I know that was a lot of information, so we're going to go through everything one more time. Putting it all together. This review is crucial to integrate the information, so repeat this lesson until you can visualize each part and test yourself by explaining it to a spouse, a friend, a pet, or a houseplant. When you can explain it, you got it. Let's review. This time we're going to go backwards, from densities to dimensions to matrices, starting at source and ending way past the atom. Let's dive in. Densities. The one, the all, the infinite creator, whatever you want to call it, has its source in the root of fractal symmetry with nothingness, which by definition can't exist. The only way to balance nothingness that can't exist is with everything that must exist. This energy is expanded into infinite expressions of universes, each of which has an incarnation and disincarnation, governed by a collective universal soul called the God Brain or God Soul or multiverse. New universes are born all the time and grow into their next life just like a human soul does. Each universe has a different structure. So let's look at the levels of consciousness within our universe. First, we have the consciousness of our universe itself, composed of everything within the universe. Within our universe, we have collectives of galactic consciousnesses, sort of like the biggest beings here. Individual galactic consciousnesses govern the ascension of all beings within them, including solar consciousness, which consists of planetary consciousness, and collective souls, sometimes called oversouls. Underneath the level of collective souls, we have our first incarnate individual beings, sixth density beings, which are fully shedding the illusion of separation and learning to become pure energy so they can return to non-physicality. These beings graduated from fifth density beings, which are learning infinite wisdom by seeing all perspectives on all timelines. These beings graduated from fourth density beings, which are learning to vibrate into their own highest timeline, together, collectively, in the now, through the power of pure unconditional love. We, the Earth Human Collective, are now in the beginning of fourth density. We got here from third density. In the third density, we gain self-awareness and the ability to make decisions and live out those decisions. To get to the third density, consciousness builds vessels in the second density, including plants and animals. This is the first time source energy interacts with itself in an entity environment way. And below that is the basis of the physical makeup of reality, the beingness also tuned to our universe that is first density, elemental components, atoms, and primary energy patterns, earth, fire, water, air. Alright, that's all of the densities. Moving on to dimensions. There are three finished dimensional spaces in all of creation. The third, the sixth, and the ninth, holding space-time, time-space, and entire realities, respectively. The 10th dimension is all of these together at one point. The ninth, eighth, and seventh are the three-axis system of every possible reality, similar to length, height, and depth. The seventh dimension is an extension of all universes, and our universe could be represented as a point in the seventh dimension. The sixth dimension holds all time extensions and contains entities and objects made of time. An example of a sixth-dimensional reality would be a bubble around the Milky Way galaxy, containing all possible histories and futures. The fifth dimension is an extension holding all possibilities of timelines. One point or plane represents all of the possible timelines of a single third-dimensional space entity. The fourth dimension is an extension of a 3D space entity through time, called a timeline. A three-dimensional entity has length, height, and depth. This is where we have most of our experience, and along with the fourth dimension is where our physical universe is most commonly understood and experienced by humans. The second dimension is length and height, or a plane. The first dimension has just length, or a line. And finally, the zeroth dimension links everything to everything. It's the dimension of consciousness, of perspective, and the center unity point of the toroidal fabric of experienceable reality. This zeroth dimension gives the creator connection to every point and perspective of reality, as all consciousness is the creator consciousness. Okay, now we have the structure of reality and the structure of consciousness. Now on to the final piece, the notes of our universal song, the matrices. The matrices are separate versions of our universal expression. They are the same fabric, like musical notes are all sound. As musical notes rise in frequency, universal matrices rise in connectivity of every entity within the matrix with each increasing note. There are 12 matrices, separate but linked by the 11th density / 7th dimensional universal consciousness. We can peer into a matrix above or below through a third party in that matrix, but we can't incarnate there or have physical influence without going through the 11th density first. These matrices allow for the widest range of experiences within our universe and probably influence each other in subtle ways, allowing each version of the universe to be very rich and full of all manner of experience. Like a song can be filled with all types of chords and melodies. Alright, we did it. We got through the review. Test yourself by explaining each density and dimension, as well as the concept of matrices, to a spouse, coworker, friend, pet, or houseplant.